Namaskar, good morning dear students and all the viewers. Welcome to CIET NCERT's another live and interactive session, Virtual Labs. My name is Deepak Mishra and you are watching this session live on PM eVidya channel number 6 to 12. And apart from that, you can also connect with us on our official YouTube channel which goes by the name NCERT Official. So dear students, you know very well that virtual labs are one of the most interesting sessions held by CIET NCERT, and you students definitely wait very curiously because virtual labs are one of the my interesting session as well. So all the viewers and all the students who have joined us, let me give you a brief idea about virtual labs, that what exactly virtual labs is all about. So virtual labs is a digital simulation of a physical laboratory that allows you to perform, experiment and explore scientific experiments. And you can also practice scientific technical skills using a computer or using a laptop. Now apart from that, virtual labs do also have some benefits. They have some interesting elements, like you can click virtual tools, step-by-step instruction what you receive here, and data collection and analysis. And lastly, you also have assessment as well. So this is a brief idea about virtual labs, and today on this session what we will be discussing and learning, let me give you the name of topic. Today the topic is very interesting. On computer science we will be doing demonstration of simulation on swap two numbers, that is pass by value. This is a very important subject, that is computer science, and let me tell you the class as well. This is very important for class 11 student. So during this entire session, if you want to reach us by asking any question or by giving any feedback, you can give us a call on a number, that is 8800444059. And apart from that, we also do have a dedicated email ID where you can write us. The email ID is, you can see on the screen, that is diksha.training@ciet.nic.in. And apart from that, during this entire session you can also connect with us on our official YouTube channel which goes by the name NCERT Official. And during this live session, in the chat box, in the comment section, you can ask your questions, you can connect with us by asking your questions and giving your feedback. So dear all the students, now please join me to welcome today's guest who had joined us for this virtual lab session on computer science. We are joined by Miss Shweta Bhardwaj ma'am. She is consultant technical at CIET NCERT New Delhi. Shweta ma'am, very good morning. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, and a very warm welcome to all the learners.
So Shweta ma'am, I'm very excited. I'm sure apart from me, all the viewers, all the students who are watching this session or might be watching this session after the live, they would be learning something new on this special session. So ma'am, today's topic is very important. We will be doing simulation on swap two numbers, that is pass by two value.
Yeah.
Firstly, just please explain me and all the students, viewers who are watching us, give a short overview, brief idea what we will be learning and discussing today.
Definitely. So today we are going to understand simple but very important concept of Python programming, that is swapping of two numbers pass by value. And this method is not only important for examination, but it lays strong foundation for understanding the concepts like searching, sorting and logical problem solving in computer science.
So this is very important which ma'am had told, and I think ma'am this will gonna be a very helpful for all these schools as well, because there are many schools who have limited physical infrastructures.
Yes.
And what I know up to my knowledge, this virtual labs always try to help our students and all the teachers as well. So ma'am, can we go ahead quickly, and I'll request you to please go ahead and try to help me and all the viewers as well. We can start by simulation.
Yes, so Deepak ji, before we jump to the simulation, I would like to make the learners apprise about what swapping means and where are we using it in daily life and why is it important in computer science. So first let me and make you understand that swapping means interchanging the value of the variables. For example, we have two variables A and B. Initially A will be having the value of 10 and B will be having the value of 20. So after swapping, so what will happen? the values will be interchanged like this, and A will be having the value of 20 and B will hold 10.
Right.
So, even though it looks very simple, still it holds a very important place in computer science.
Right.
And even in day-to-day life, we are using it every day, where while swapping the seats with our friends, by organizing things or data in order, or maybe by playing cards, we arrange the cards by swapping only. And in computer science, it is very pivotal because it helps us to sort the data in searching, in data manipulation, and or memory management also. So this important concept we are going to learn through simulation. So now I would like to take the learners to Diksha portal. So on Google, you can simply type diksha.gov.in, and this is going to redirect the learners to our Diksha portal. So this is the focus area of virtual labs. By scrolling it down, we can see that the virtual labs have been categorically placed using class wise. So we are going to focus on grade 11 today. We are going to click English and we can choose computer science. As you can see that it is a repository of so many simulations. So we are going to click on swap two numbers, pass by value, and it will show the user's explanation resources. Once you will click this, you will get the link to the simulation. So here, as we can see, we can directly click here and it is going to take us on this user interface. So as Deepak ji also mentioned that virtual labs play a very pivotal role in institutions where we have limitations of hardwares. Maybe institutions have outdated hardware or obsolete softwares. It can play a very crucial role. So teachers can integrate these virtual labs as they have these tabs: theory, procedure, video. So this forms the pre-lab session. Even if a child doesn't know about the concept, the teacher is not there, they can learn the concept first. Then they can learn the simulation, perform the experiment, they can do the self-evaluation, and we are going to discuss these for sure. So first let me click on theory. It is showing the objective of today's experiment, that we are going to execute a Python program which is going to swap two numbers. So it is also demonstrating the theory that there are two ways in which we can swap these numbers: pass by value and pass by reference. So we know that in pass by values, the original values are intact because we copy the actual values which are passed to a function. So in this simulation, we are also going to understand functions and how to define them. Then users can also see various assembly level instructions. Now we know that in Python we write English language for the source code, but inside the computers these instructions are being converted into these assembly level language. So it gives clarity to the learners. And then we have learning outcomes, that what learner is going to achieve. So once we are done with the theory, we can click the procedure. Now procedure is like a flow chart. It tells the learners that how these instructions are being executed step by step. So as we can see that we have to declare two variables, A and B, which are going to hold the values 30 and 40. So A will be having 30 and B will be having 40. Then we are declaring a function swap and we are passing these values in this function like this. Now why we are using call by value? Because if we are going to make changes in these two variables, then only values will be changed inside this function body. The original values will be intact. So this ensures safe experimentation. And we know that print command is used to print the values once the values are being swapped. It is also showing that how these simple lines of code are being executed into these assembly language. For function body, we can say that we have to use the keyword def. It is used to define function inside Python, and we also put colon. As learners can see that we are also providing indentation, because in Python programming we don't use parentheses. So it gives conceptual clarity, syntax clarity to the learner before they can perform the simulation. There's also a video part. If any learner is confused about how to navigate the simulation, they can click on the video and they can perform the simulation. Now, let me show you how to perform the simulation. So this interface, it has a left part which has the source code. I just explained that how a function is being defined, values are initialized, how to make the function call. Now this is the source code for Python program, and it is being converted into assembly language. See that when we write, we have to write very few lines, but inside computer, these lines of codes are interpreted in as many lines. Now in the right hand side, we can see that we have the data segment and the stack segment. So when a teacher is explaining these concepts in the classroom, we write the source code and we get the instant output. In the classrooms, in the physical laboratories, we cannot show a child that how these conversions are being done inside the computer. We know that a computer is a black box. We give input, it is being processed, and we get the output. But here in virtual labs, I'm going to show you that how the values are being also loaded into the registers of the memory, which is not there, in physical teaching. So let me start. As you can see that these are the blue highlighted portion, and it is being executed. The very first line, the variables have been declared. So once the variables are declared, it is being assigned in the data segment, all the temporary variables. A will be having value of 30, B will be having value of 40. Now, this portion, the green pointer, it will call the function. The moment the function is being called, the stack segment will allocate some space for the function, and it will load these values of A and B into this memory area. Now here, all the values will be gradually loaded into the register. So while a teacher is teaching, these things are missing, and it does not give, conceptual clarity to the learners of computer science. And the values will be loaded, they will be computed, they will be loaded back into the temporary variables. As you can see, the values are moving. So virtual labs provide that thing which a teacher cannot teach in the physical classroom, and it can show the output 30 and 40. So using a function and using a temporary variable, we can swap the values of the variables A and B. And once we have done the simulation, a child can also go for the self-evaluation. So Deepak ji, we were talking about that virtual labs not only playing crucial role in the conceptual clarity of the learners, as well as it is also giving space for the teachers to conduct the self-evaluation. As you can see that we can click on the self-evaluation. A teacher can also, give exercises to the students if, to remove any kind of misconceptions. So after the, simulation, they can perform the simulation, do the self-evaluation. I'm just randomly taking the answers here.
So ma'am,
show.
I
Yeah.
can see there are multiple choice questions.
Yes.
My question is that if a student is attempting for the first time
Yes.
and unluckily if he or she gives wrong answer.
Yes.
So is there any time boundation or limitation, or the students can perform n number of times?
So absolutely, this is the beauty of virtual labs, that there is no time boundation. It is giving repeatability to the learners, that if they are performing wrong, then it will not, stop or restrict the learners to not to do the test. They can attempt it as many times.
Okay.
So for example, we can see, I'm just leaving some questions also, and if we are going to click on submit, it is showing wrong.
Right.
And it is not restricting the child. It is also not showing the score, because that also intimidates the learner in today's scenario, because there's a lot of burden. So they can, repeat, they can understand the simulation once again, they can revisit the theory section, and they can do it again. So this is the beauty of virtual labs.
So ma'am, during this entire simulation, I'm watching it very carefully, and one important question which is coming in my mind, I want to ask to you,
Yes.
especially not in terms of student, but also in terms for teachers as well. There is no doubt that this virtual labs, it have many tools
Yes.
for teachers and students as well. So how exactly this virtual labs can help teachers and student as well? Because one thing I want to understand with you, that how can it guarantee for safe experiments?
Yes, Deepak ji. So this is very important question, because in subjects like chemistry, physics, biology, we had some kind of hazards, like we have using harmful chemicals. But in computer science, safe experimentation is very important, because here we are dealing with the computer system, and many a times learners feel intimidated by executing the programs. They feel that if they change something, it can crash the system, it can manipulate the data. So here a learner is operating in sandbox environment. Here everything is uniform for all the learners. They are not making any changes in the physical system. Whatever they are performing, it is being performed in web-based portal. So if they are going to make any changes, the actual settings remain to be same. They will be intact. So this guarantees safe experimentation.
Okay.
So as we can see that there are resources as well, that apart from simulation, if a child wants to learn further, they can revisit this. And I think I told you that this portion, that it has pre-lab session, lab session, and this post-lab session, that a child can also perform this, to strengthen their understanding of the concept. And teacher can also, integrate these virtual labs in their day-to-day teaching. It is also going to enhance collaboration, critical thinking, creativity. So it is going to strengthen all these 21st century skills.
This is absolutely a very good thing, because what I personally like about virtual labs, that student and teachers, if they are accessing this, they have multiple options. You can drag the projects, you can while you are performing any simulation, you can drag it, you can click it. And one thing which I personally like, ma'am, there is a step-by-step instruction.
Yes.
If you get confused anywhere, there is a step-by-step confusion, you can watch the video. Ma'am, what anything else apart from this? We are going with simulation process. So what we are left out with?
So I can also ensure that when you are conducting this simulation, you can also understand the memory management part, that how the values are declared by the user, and then we have data segment and stack segment. So a child will also gain the clarity that the temporary variables, the local variables which we define in the program, how they are stored in the data segment, how these partitions are created in the memory, and how a function is declared, how function goes into the stack segment. And there is an important part of this stack. We can see the keywords of push and pop. So it is used in the stack. And a child, apart from this, swapping of two numbers, they will also understand that how stack and how queues are used in data structures of computer programming. Then they will also understand the significance of variables like load, store. And so I think this is going to make computer science very interesting for kids. They will be curious, and they can repeat the experiment as many times as they want, and they can also create their own programs, because it is also showing how to do the optimizations of lines of codes, that once they will be finished writing these lines of codes, they will be converted into so many assembly language lines. So they will be motivated to write their own programs, to experiment in risk-free sandbox environment. So I think this is going to be path breaking for the learners of computer science.
Ma'am, apart from this, what additionally, personally, you would like to add on during this session, because there are many students who are watching this session. Previously also they had attended many sessions, but when we speak about computer science, might be there would be some student who would be facing some kind of any difficulty, or so what advantage they can take from this virtual labs?
So yes, we can reap the maximum benefit of virtual labs. And in the times of DIY, when students are creating their own programs, own logics, I will try to motivate the students that this is not just one thing. They can also create their own virtual labs. If they are facing any difficulty in any concept of programming, if they know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, they can create their own virtual labs. And before a teacher is teaching a concept in the classroom, she or he can also motivate the learners that first go to Diksha portal, understand the concept through virtual labs, and then they can discuss it, so that students can make their own logics. In terms of the cyber attacks, cyber security is very important, and learners are still restricted. They feel intimidated to jump into this territory. So they can also use virtual labs to understand cyber attacks and how database is created without actually affecting the systems.
And ma'am, apart from this, there is another important thing which I would like to understand. I want you to please understand, how do virtual labs support computer science learning in schools, especially because there are many schools, they have limited physical infrastructure or ample amount of infrastructure. But when we speak about this virtual labs, so how exactly these schools or the teachers who are faculty over there, or the students who are studying in that schools, how actually they can have the advantage?
Yes, so there are many institutions which are still grappling with outdated hardware and obsolete softwares. So virtual labs are very important there, as NEP 2020 focuses on providing education which is inclusive, equitable and qualitative in nature. I think virtual labs are going to ensure everything, because they do not discriminate between hardware and software. We have a web-based platform on Diksha. In order to access virtual lab, we need minimal infrastructure. All we need is a web portal, then we need stable internet connection, and using any of the devices, be it a laptop, a tablet or a computer, a learner can access virtual labs. So I think it is going to be important that learners has to use these virtual labs to gain or to master the computer science subject.
I think Shweta ma'am had made all the doubts clear of myself also, and all the viewers who are watching also, because the virtual labs have many advantages, and every day when we come during 10 AM on these sessions on different subjects, on different simulations, so students actually have the advantage of the different subjects on whatever subject or whatever class subject simulation we are performing. And today's session was all about computer science. We were doing simulation on swap two numbers by pass by values. So I think this was very interesting. Personally, I had also learned a lot of things, and Shweta ma'am had explained us very beautifully that how you can go ahead, you can perform this by clicking, by following the instructions, by watching the video, and there is a step-by-step process which automatically guides you. So now the time is not allowing us to continue this session, but we had learned a lot of things during this entire session. You can give us a feedback what you had learned from this session, or is there any doubt, any feedback you want to give to us, you can give us definitely. So now please allow me to wrap this session, but before that I would like to thank Shweta Bhardwaj ma'am. Shweta ma'am, thank you so much for joining and explaining so beautifully.
Thank you.
So this is me, Deepak Mishra, now wrapping the session. But before that, let's have a quick look on the upcoming session. What all sessions you will be watching today on PM eVidya channel. So after some time at 12 p.m, there will be a session on inclusive classrooms. There will be a session at 2 p.m. on mathematics subject. There will be a session at 3:30 p.m. on Sanskrit session. At 4 p.m. there will be a 1-hour training, and lastly at 5 p.m. there will be a session Sahyog on an important topic. So this is me, Deepak Mishra. Now please allow me to wrap this session with the commitment that we will come back once again with another expert, another session. We will be learning and discussing a lot of things. Till the time, take care of yourself and keep watching PM eVidya channels. Keep smiling. Namaskar.